In this video, I'm going to talk about how to make 6 figures in 6 months. Usually I start my videos by saying, if you want to control what you eat, control your body, and control your life. In this video, this is about controlling your finances and controlling your life, not so much about controlling what you eat. In this video, I'm going to share with you some of the major points and quotes of 6 months to 6 figures by Peter Voogd. I first found Peter Voogd at the end of 2015 when I was starting my entrepreneurial journey, and this is one of the books that really helped me. I've read it 4 times, and every time I read it, I find something new. Since then, I've joined his Game Changers Academy. I've also joined his 6 months to 6 figures program, and I listen to his millionaire guest speaker calls every month. Needless to say, I'm a big fan of Peter Voogd and the knowledge and wisdom that he teaches entrepreneurs. Voogd is on a mission to make sure young entrepreneurs don't make the same mistakes that he did. And it's safe to say that without Peter Voogd, this channel would not exist. And I would probably not be an entrepreneur, and I would not be serving other entrepreneurs and professionals and showing them how to eat right. So without any further introduction, let's get to it. The first point is habits precede inspiration. A lot of people are waiting to be inspired to make better choices and better habits. Voogd argues the opposite. If you want inspiration, then you just need to take action. You need to do what you need to do, and you need to start forming those habits. When you start making better decisions about your life, then you feel more inspired, and then you create momentum. And I'm going to get to momentum in just a minute, but you need to start making habits before you feel inspired. It's going to feel inconvenient at first, and a lot of times we don't want to do that, and we feel like there's a better time to do that, and we can wait until someday in the future to make those habits, and then we'll feel inspired. It doesn't work that way. You have to start taking action even when it's uncomfortable and even when you don't feel like it, and then you're going to feel inspired. Voogd argues that the biggest inspiration of all is seeing results, but if you want results, you have to take action first. If you wait until you're inspired, then it's going to be a long time. The second point is optimism. I'm an optimist by nature. I think the world is getting better. Every year there's all these new tools and services, but it's only getting better for people who take action, only for people who are entrepreneurial. It's only good for people who want to think critically and want to be creative. For the average worker who's working 8 to 5, things probably aren't getting that better, but you've got to take charge of your life. You have to take charge of your life, and I think that's the central message of this book, but Peter Voogd shows you how to do that. Voogd writes, "This is the best opportunity in human history to create," there's the word, "the life that you want, a life full of income, abundance, influence, and flexibility." This kind of optimism infuses the entire book, so if you're an optimist, you're really going to like it. If you're a pessimist, then you need to read this book because it'll turn you into an optimist. The next point is invest in yourself. You have to invest in yourself. And you can start by buying the book or investing in his programs or going to seminars or listening to self-help audios or YouTube videos instead of listening to music. You can do that by saturating your mind with voices like Peter Voogd or, I don't know, Tony Robbins or Ed Milet, whoever you want to listen to, it doesn't matter. But you have to invest in yourself. You have to constantly upgrade yourself. I remember back when I was about 29, 30 years old, I wanted to be an investor. You know, I wanted to start investing in apartments, condos, whatever. And then I realized after reading books like this that the best investment was myself. I had to invest in myself first. I had to upgrade myself before I could become an investor, before I could become an entrepreneur. I had to become a different version of myself. In order to help others, you have to help yourself first, and you have to invest in yourself first. The next point is bring your skills to the marketplace, not your passion. I know we like to think follow your passion. That's kind of like, wow, that sounds like great advice, but it's really not. You shouldn't follow your passion, actually. I think what you should do is take inventory of your skills and figure out what you're good at or what you could be good at. You have to be honest with yourself. If you're trying to be something or somebody that you're never going to be, then you should probably pursue something else. It took me a while to realize that I wanted to become an online coach. I wanted to become a consultant, but I didn't know that when I was 26, 27 years old. That took time, and I had to devote a lot of thought to that, and I had to be honest with myself. What are you really good at, and what skills can you develop? I think you need to ask yourself, what are you curious about? If you're not curious about something, you're not going to invest the time to research it. Also, you get paid according to what you're worth. You don't get paid according to a law. You don't get paid according to what you want. You get paid according to the value that you provide to the marketplace, and you get paid according to the problems that you solve, and you get paid according to the number of people that you serve. If you work at a restaurant, you're waiting tables, you're serving, you know, I don't know, 50 people, 100 people a day, but you're not solving a big problem. In fact, those kind of jobs are going to be automated in the near future. You don't want to have a job that can be automated in the next 10 or 20 years. That's why you need to have a job that requires critical thinking and or creativity. Be better today than you were yesterday. Quit comparing yourself to others. Oftentimes we compare ourselves to others who are at a much different point in their journey, and we forget the struggle and the sacrifice that they had to make many years ago. We don't see that part. What is an entrepreneur anyway? We say this word a lot. I think it's a French word, and I think it means to undergo some task or to embark on a journey or something like that. But Peter Voogd says, I define an entrepreneur as somebody who controls their income and makes money through their intelligence, relationships, ideas, and implementation. The last part is critical. You can have all the ideas that you want, but if you don't know how to execute, you don't know how to implement. The next point is congruency. What you do needs to be in line with your values. Just be honest with yourself. Are you acting like the person that you want to be? Are you doing things that you know you shouldn't be doing? Are you acting in a way that contradicts your values? I remember for the longest time I would say, yes, I value health and fitness, but then I would overeat, I would binge eat, I would restrict, I would engage in all these unhealthy behaviors. Nobody ever knew about that because they just thought I was being healthy. So I kind of felt like a fraud in a way. It was this horrible feeling. I felt like I was doing one thing, but then I was presenting myself as something completely different. Voogd says you need to adjust and change your actions as fast as you can so that you are incongruent with your values. Always stop and ask yourself, is what I'm doing congruent with my values? This takes a tremendous amount of self-awareness, which is one of the big themes of this channel, right? Be aware, be conscious of what you're doing. Don't be on autopilot all the time. I'm a big fan of self-analysis. Like what's going right, what's going wrong, where do you need to adjust, what can you eliminate in your life that you don't need. The next point is the 6 C's, and I'm going to review some of them, not all of them in this video. They are confidence, clarity, circle of influence, consistent energy and motivation, continual growth, and crafting the perfect results rituals. I talked about congruency, but let's talk about confidence. Voogd says you're either hurting your confidence or helping your confidence at all times. Every action you take pushes you forward or it takes you back. There's no such thing as neutral. Everything you do counts. Everything you do pushes you towards your goal or pushes you away from your goal. Voogd encourages us to act boldly. Once we face our fears, they tend to fade away. A lot of times we anticipate fear, even though it's not really there. We anticipate all of these threats, and we think something is threatening us at all times. We are fear-producing machines. We're constantly detecting threats and fears. A lot of it is false. A lot of it is just completely imaginary. I find that when I just confront my fears, it's never as bad as I thought. The next point is consistency and energy. One of the things that will kill your progress is starting and stopping, starting and stopping. I've made videos in the past about how to keep your momentum and how not to fall off the wagon, because the most frustrating thing is to have momentum and then lose it because it's really hard to regain it. So you want to be consistent over time. A lack of consistency will steal your dreams, or it will derail your dreams, or it will severely impede your dreams. Voogd says the start and stop process is probably one of the greatest reasons people don't ultimately achieve their goals and end up living lives of discontent, frustration, and disappointment. The next point is be productive, not busy. Voogd says that being busy is actually a form of laziness, because when you're busy and you're doing all these tasks, you give yourself the false impression that you're actually being productive when you're not. What I like to do is identify 1 or 2 things that are really going to move the needle, and I focus on those things as soon as I possibly can. For example, I'm making this video very early in the morning because I know this video is important. I want to share it with Peter, I want to share it with his fans, I want to share it with you, and I think this video is going to help you, and I hope you read the book, but it's also going to help my channel, it's going to help my business. So this is a lot more important, for example, than cleaning my desk or vacuuming my carpet or going to the gas station to get gas. Those are menial tasks. They're important, you got to do it at some point, but they're not going to move the needle in my business, and they can wait. I like to focus on creative, difficult tasks early in the morning. Some people like to use the Eisenhower matrix or whatever it is. Stephen Covey likes to have that quadrant. It says, is it important and urgent? Is it urgent and important? You need to focus on tasks that are important now and in the future. I like to do things that are important and I don't necessarily want to do. I like to do those as early as I possibly can. Brian Tracy likes to talk about Eat That Frog. That's another great book, by the way. You can find a link in the description box below. Peter Voogd says we need to change habits and create results rituals. What habits do you need to create? For the longest time, the habit I needed to create was to eat right. That was my struggle for 5 or 6 years. It was difficult. I finally did it. Now I'm showing people how to do it in a lot less time with a lot less frustration. But there are other habits in my life that I need to create. One habit that I've created is I block all apps when I'm doing something really important. And the way I do that is with an app called Focus Me. If you want less distraction and more focus in your life, then I highly recommend you download Focus Me. You can get 15% off your first purchase when you click the link in the description box below. That's just one example. There are always other habits that I need to create. Every day I try to think, how else can I be more efficient? How else can I be more focused? What else can I eliminate in my life that's only a distraction and a waste of time? The next point is the 1%. The 1% just think and behave differently. They have different goals. They use different language. They think about the future 10 times more than they think about the present or the past. They're always talking about projects and ideas. They're always talking about execution. Peter likes to say that great people talk about ideas, exceptional people talk about execution, and then mediocre people talk about other people. Avoid the gossip, avoid politics, avoid news. Talk about your future, talk about what it is that you want. Here's a great quote. While most are worried about economic crises and turmoil, the top 1% are thinking about what they are grateful for, gratitude, what their opportunities are, the future, and asking what's good about this crisis. The fact is, the 1% actually succeed in economic turmoil and crises because they're always thinking about the future and what else they can do. The next point is now matters. This part really resonated with me because I kept thinking when I was a binge eater, when I had eating disorders, I kept thinking I can delay change till tomorrow. I can wait till next week, next month, next trimester, next year. After a while, I had lost a decade of my life. I wonder if I had taken action 5, 6 years earlier, what would my life be like now? Maybe I wouldn't be an online coach. I don't know. But still, I would have saved myself a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of frustration, and I wouldn't have incurred a lot of physical damage. The fact is, there's never going to be a right time to do something. We like to think, oh, I'll wait until next year or whatever. That's still not going to be the perfect time. You just have to start making action. When you start taking action and you start getting results, then you develop momentum, then you feel inspired, then you feel motivated. Don't wait until you're motivated to take action. Take action, then you'll feel motivated. The next point is momentum. Momentum is easy to lose, it's hard to get. Peter Voogd likes to say that the two scariest things in business are momentum and the lack of it. If you have momentum, you're probably doing really great. You have good habits, you're focused, you're disciplined, and you're focused on the things that really move the needle in your business. If you lack momentum, it's really hard to get it and you're not getting results. And then you started this vicious cycle. Lack of results, lack of momentum, lack of action, and then you get no results. Then you lose even more momentum and it keeps going. The last point is urgency. I know I mentioned this a little earlier, but urgency is so important. If I could take a shot of urgency and put it into my veins, that would be the most amazing thing because I would be 10 times faster. I would implement a lot faster. I would get results 10 times faster. Having a lack of urgency is a killer of dreams. It hurts you, it hurts me. Fortunately, I'm a little better about that, but that is something that I need to work on in my life. How can I be more urgent? How can I have a greater sense of urgency? If my leg were broken and I was bleeding, I would have a huge sense of urgency. Wow, I need to get to the urgent care center and get treatment immediately. What if you treated all your projects and all your businesses like that and you thought, I need to get this done today? There are so many other good points in this book. I didn't even mention all of the C's, but you can read the book, and I highly recommend you join Game Changers Academy or his 6 months to 6 figures program. At the very least, read his books. Okay, best quotes of the book. I know I've mentioned a few, but here are some others. Amateurs practice until they get it right. Professionals practice until they can't get it wrong. Don't bring your problems to the marketplace, bring your skills. I would also add, don't bring your passion to the marketplace. Nobody cares about your passion. People want your skills. People want results. There is nothing that brings you energy and confidence like progressing towards your goals. Absolutely true. The story of the human race is the story of men and women selling themselves short. Your results will always be congruent with who you are, how you think, and what you do on a daily basis. A life best lived is a life lived by design. Never let those who have given up on their dreams talk you out of yours. When you stop growing, you die. You're either progressing toward your goals or falling behind. There is no in between. If you think mentorship is expensive, consider how expensive mediocrity is. Ouch. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it educational and entertaining. Remember, the book is 6 Months to Six Figures by Peter Voogd. Don't forget to check out some of his other programs. If you're an entrepreneur or a professional and you want to live an exceptional lifestyle, then I can't recommend Peter Voogd enough. And if you want to stop overeating, stop binge eating, or you want more control over what you eat, then you can head to my website and you can find my 5-day challenge to stop overeating in 5 days. And if you want to speak with me personally, you can do that. You can find a link in the description box below. And don't forget to check out some of my other videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.